Namaskar. Myself Dr. Dipti Bish, Professor, Department of Kaichikitsa, Faculty of Ayurveda Sciences, Jyoti Vidyapeeth, Women's University, Jaipur. In today's session for class 4th year BMS, I'm going to discuss the topic leukemia. Let's start the topic with a brief introduction. As you know, leukemia is considered as a group of heterogeneous neoplastic disorder of white blood cells based on their origin, myeloid or lymphoid. They can be divided into two types. So, acute leukemias usually present with hemorrhage, anemia, infection or infiltration of the organ, and hence the classification is designed based on origin and based on disease course. Based on origin, it can be of two types, either myeloid or lymphoid, and based on disease course, it can be acute and chronic. Etiology is multifactorial. It can be genetic, viral, and environmental factors like drugs, chemicals, ionizing, radiation, etc. Patients with chronic leukemias are usually asymptomatic. Other leukemias present with splenomegaly, fever, weight loss, malaise, frequent infections, bleeding, thrombosis, or lymphadenopathy. Some chronic leukemias enter a blast phase where the clinical manifestations are similar to the acute leukemias. So before moving forward, management, some important points regarding chronic myelogenous leukemia, or called CML. It is characterized by an uncontrolled proliferation of granulocytes and accompanying proliferation of erythroid cells and megakaryocytes is usually present. Many patients are asymptomatic but may present with splenomegaly, weight loss, malaise, bleeding, or thrombosis. Another type is chronic lymphocytic leukemia, which represents a monoclonal expansion of lymphocytes. It is predominantly malignant clonal disorder of beta lymphocytes. There is primary involvement of the bone marrow and secondary release into the peripheral blood. Most patients are asymptomatic at diagnosis. As the disease progresses, lymphadenopathy, splenomegaly, and hepatomegaly develop. A secondary immune deficiency with hypogammaglobulinemia exists. Acute lymphocytic leukemia is a malignant clonal disorder of the bone marrow lymphopoietic precursor cells. There is progressive medullary and extramedullary accumulations of lymphoblasts that are present. The clinical presentation is dominated by progressive weakness and fatigue secondary to anemia, infection secondary to leukopenia, and bleeding secondary to thrombocytopenia. So this was chronic lymphocytic leukemia. Another one is acute myelogenous leukemia, which is also abbreviated as AML. It is a group of neoplastic disorders of the hematopoietic precursor cells of the bone marrow. AML is subdivided by FAB system into 6 categories depending on the morphology. It is now the disorder of rapidly proliferating neoplastic cells. A failure of maturation of the neoplastic cell clone exists. Bone marrow is gradually replaced by blast cells. Therefore, the most important complications are progressive anemias, leukopenias, and thrombocytopenia. So, etiology of leukemias is generally appears to be multifactorial. Either it can be genetic, viral, or environmental factors, as I have told earlier. Also, it is believed that final common pathway is damage to DNA, and this damage may rearrange the genetic material thereby allowing previously silent oncogenes to be expressed. Similarly, patients with abnormal number of chromosomes, like trisomy 21, and chromosomal translocations are at greater increased risk. Myelotoxic agents like ionizing radiation, benzene alkylating agents, similarly chromosomal abnormalities like Down syndrome, etc. These all can become the cause. If we talk about the pathophysiology, a clone of malignant cells may arise at any stage of maturation, that is, in the lymphoid, myeloid, or pluripotential stage. The cause for this clonal expansion is poorly understood, but it appears to involve some rearrangement of DNA. External factors such as alkylating drugs, ionizing radiation, and chemicals, and internal factors like chromosomal abnormalities lead to DNA changes. In these cases of leukemias, usually bone marrow starts to fail due to all of these reasons. Pancytopenia is typical and results in part from physical replacement of normal marrow elements by the immature cells. In addition, abnormal cells may secrete factors that inhibit normal hematopoiesis. The ocular manifestations are there which are secondary to direct infiltration of the leukemia cells, and these cells can infiltrate other organs like liver, spleen, and eye. Clinical features. In most patients, diagnosis of leukemias has been made before presenting to a clinician. However, in some patients, ocular symptoms and examination lead to a diagnosis of leukemia. Most patients do not develop symptoms as a result of intraocular involvement. Uh, Ancillary investigations that usually done in any suspicious case: complete blood count and differential blood count. CBC is most useful initial laboratory test in patients suspected of having leukemias. Most patients will show some abnormalities and some blasts will be seen in peripheral smear in patients with acute leukemias. To diagnose chronic lymphoid leukemias, a lymphocytosis of greater than 5,000 per mm cube must be present. Absolute neutrophil count is usually normal, and red blood cell count and platelet counts are mildly decreased. In addition, peripheral smear or bone marrow should show normal mature small lymphocytes with less than 55% atypical or blast count. Similarly, chronic myeloid leukemia is defined by peripheral white blood cell count. Leukocytosis is an axis of lakh per millimeter cube, and differential count shows that neutrophil precursors are present, and this is accompanied by basophilia and eosinophilia. Another investigation which is usually done is bone marrow aspiration. It establishes the diagnosis of leukemia. The morphology of blasts usually can differentiate between acute lymphoid leukemia and acute myeloid leukemia. In acute lymphoid, homogeneous infiltrate of lymphoblasts replaces the normal bone marrow elements. Lymphoblasts usually are small and measure approximately 14 mm in diameter. They have scant cytoplasm with no granules. Nucleus has no nuclei or small indistinct one. For the diagnosis of acute myeloid type, 30% of nucleated cells in the spirate must be blast cells of myeloid origin. Multiple large nuclei, delicate chromatin, gray-blue cytoplasm, and or rods characterize myeloblasts. In chronic leukemia, bone marrow infiltration exceeds 30% of lymphocytes, and the lymphocytes are mature with less than 55% atypical or blast form. Another Analysis is immunophenotyping. It is done using multi-parameter flow cytometry following labeling with monoclonal antibodies to cell surface antigens identifying the B or T cell origin. The malignant cells in chronic type correspond to minor subpopulation of B cells and T cell acute lymphoid possesses receptors for erythrocytes, and when these are combined they form eROCT. This is a type of investigation. Another investigations are also usually done like histochemical stains, which are usually uh, done to demonstrate the nuclear DNA polymerizing enzyme terminal, which is indicative of a lymphoid origin. Chromosomal analysis also plays an important role. The diagnosis of chronic myeloid leukemia established by identifying cytogenetically or molecularly a clonal extension of a hematopoietic stem cell possessing a reciprocal translocation between chromosomes 9 and 22. Now, management. Most treatment protocols use systemic chemotherapy with or without radiotherapy. The treatment is in constant flux, evolving and changing rapidly over the past few years. Most treatment protocols use systemic chemotherapy with or without radiotherapy. Basic strategy is to eliminate all detectable disease by using cytotoxic agents. To attain this goal, three phases are typically used as follows. These are remission induction phase, consolidation phase, and third is maintenance therapy phase. The chemotherapeutic agents are chosen that interfere with rapid cell division. Tumor cells usually divide more rapidly than host cells, making them more vulnerable to the effects of chemotherapy. Primary treatment will be under the direction of a medical oncologist, radiation oncologist, and primary care physician. Although a general treatment plan will be outlined like the initial treatment of acute lymphoid leukemia, various combinations of vincristine, prednisone, and L-asparaginase are used until a complete remission is obtained. Maintenance therapy with mercaptopurine is continued for 2 to 3 years following remission. Use of intrathecal methotrexate with or without cranial irradiation to cover the CNS varies from facility to facility. In cases of acute myeloid leukemia, to obtain induction and remission, drugs like daunorubicin, cytarabine, and thioguanine currently are used to obtain this function. Maintenance therapy for 8 months may lengthen remission once relapses has occurred. Acute myeloid leukemia generally is curable only by bone marrow transplantation. Then for chronic lymphoid leukemia, presently treatment is only palliative. For chronic myeloid leukemia, which is characterized by leukocytosis greater than 1 lakh cells, emergent treatment with leukapheresis is necessary when leukocytic complications are present. Otherwise, drugs like busulfan hydroxyurea can control WBC count. During the chronic phase, treatment is usually palliative. When chronic myeloid leukemia converts to a blastic phase, approximately one-third of cases behave as acute lymphoid leukemia and respond to treatment with vincristine and prednisone. The remaining two-thirds resembles acute myeloid leukemia but respond poorly to acute myeloid leukemia therapy. So curative therapy is allogeneic bone marrow transplant, but it carries a high mortality rate. Leukemic retinopathy is an important complication and is not treated directly, as the hematological parameters normalizes with systemic treatment. Many of ophthalmic signs resolve by itself when definite intraocular leukemic infiltrates fail to respond to systemic chemotherapy. Direct radiation therapy is recommended. Relapse manifested by anterior segment involvement should be treated by radiation. In certain cases, subconjunctival chemotherapeutic agents have been injected. Optic nerve head infiltration in patients with acute lymphoid leukemia is an emergency and requires prompt radiation therapy to try to solve some lesion or have some lesion. So this was all about leukemia, its etiology and management. In next lecture, we will cover some another topic. Namaskar. Have a nice day.